all their preparation, all those months of toil, all that sweat, and all those hours spent during recovery for the Brazilian superstar Neymar, it all comes to fruition today. Brazil take on Serbia in their final Group E game in the FIFA 2018 World Cup, and they will require a win or a draw at the minimum to go through against Serbia. Now, Serbia is very motivated to get one over the line against Brazil, and Group E is one of those groups that has really hotted up as the tournament has progressed. Going to break down Group B for you right now, because that's what we're immediately looking forward to today, and the big game between Brazil and Serbia. Now, in Group E, currently Brazil has a chance of going through. Of course, the only team that doesn't have any chance of going through is Costa Rica, because they occupy the bottom of the table with 0 points. But as we all know, Brazil has scraped through in the last game against Costa Rica, where in the dying moments Felipe Coutinho scored the opening goal, and then Neymar came on and produced his usual magic to take Brazil through 2-0. But they would remember their first game against Switzerland, where they drew 1-1, and Switzerland really gave them a run for their money, and Brazil would be wary of the same happening today against Serbia. Serbia honestly have nothing to lose. In fact, in the Serbian camp there have been comments that never has a nation been so united before for one single World Cup game, and that looks ominous for Brazil. But Brazil, knowing how the other strong teams in this tournament have done, whether Portugal, whether be it Spain, be it Argentina, in the end they've all gone on and gotten the job done, and I have a feeling that Brazil will go ahead and get the job done. I'm kind of improving at my predictions as I'm going along, because I've gotten a couple of right, so I have the confidence to kind of put my neck out on the line and say, hey, look, this is what's going to happen today. But I'm going to read out a few stats for you between Brazil and Serbia, and interestingly, Yugoslavia, as Serbia was earlier known as, Yugoslavia included, Serbia and Brazil have met 4 times at the World Cup. Their head-to-head record is perfectly balanced, with 1 win each and 2 draws. Serbia and Brazil's first ever World Cup appearance was in a match against each other in 1930. Yugoslavia at that time ran out winners 2-1. And in total though, Serbia have faced Brazil on 19 occasions, winning just twice, drawn 7 times and lost 10. Interestingly, Brazil's final game for preparation before the World Cup in 2014 was against Serbia, where Croatia was in their group. And Croatia, Serbia, all the Slavic countries have a similar way of playing, a similar style, which is why Brazil would have opted to go through with that practice game. And it's kind of funny, and life's come a full circle, because Brazil's last practice game before this year's FIFA 2018 World Cup was against Croatia, which was perfect preparation for their game against none other than Serbia. Serbia, as we said, running into the game in a good run of form, and we have a few stats for you here before the game. As we said, Brazil is topping the group at the moment with 4 points. Switzerland is behind them with 4 points. Serbia is on 3 points and Costa Rica is on no points. Now, what does that mean? Should Serbia get a draw against Brazil, their goal difference will still be lower than Brazil's, which will mean Brazil will go through. But if Serbia get a win against Brazil and Switzerland slip up against Costa Rica, then who knows, it might come down to the result between Brazil and Switzerland, and then it goes down to goal difference. So it's really wide open in this group still, as we saw in yesterday's action in the FIFA World Cup, where Argentina were pushed to their absolute limits by Nigeria, and I did say that Argentina would eventually go on and go through in that group, and that's exactly what happened. So pat in the back for myself. But in news now, we have a full strength Brazil squad that's expected to take the line, to take the pitch against Serbia, and Serbia would be without the services of a couple of their crucial midfielders because of a couple of thigh strains. But as we said earlier in the tournament, that on the day nothing really matters, and on the day all depends on the kind of performance that you produce. An interesting video is doing the rounds and it's going viral, where Vladimir Stojkovic posted a video of a small Serbian fan telling each of his heroes individually to beat Brazil, and the caption reads, "We will, little one, I swear to you." That's the magic of the World Cup, and that's the kind of emotion, that's the kind of emotive powers that the World Cup can produce. There's other stats though. The Brazilian squad will need to score at least 1 goal against Serbia today to avoid recording their lowest first round tally of goals at a FIFA World Cup since 1978. That doesn't really cover the Brazilian squad in glory, but in the end it's all about getting the job done, and no one will really care about how it's gotten done. Neymar though, enough has been spoken about him, enough has been written about him, and now it's down to him to produce the goods when it matters the most, and eventually he does do that, as he did in the last game, where he scored the winner after the winner was scored by Felipe Coutinho. He scored the goal which made it 2-0 to Brazil against Costa Rica, but he really hasn't been looking the same player, and it's understandable because he's come back after injury, out for 3 months. The kind of pressure though that he's carrying on his shoulders is immense, and the fact that he manages to go out there and get the job done without fail each and every single time tells us about the mental strength and mental capacity that Neymar possesses. Neymar has the hopes of a nation. Think back to Mohamed Salah for Egypt. Think back to once upon a time what Sachin Tendulkar used to represent for Indians in cricket. That's exactly much that and more of what Neymar represents to people all across the world, because he's the true global superstar of football. He's the glamour boy. He's flashy. He gets into people's faces. Not everyone likes him, but he gets the job done. And honestly, Neymar hasn't ever been one for pretenses, or has ever been one for shirking a battle, because he's always gone onto the pitch and given his 100%. So that is that. In the last meeting between these national teams, which I'm talking about, Brazil and Serbia, Brazil won 1-0 in Sao Paulo. That was the final warm-up match before the 2014 World Cup opening match against Croatia, like I said. So Brazil has the last experience of playing Serbia was a victorious one, and they'd be hoping that it's much of the same today as well. In today's match preview, though, we have it hotting up Brazilian journalists and European journalists who attended Teach's press conference before the Brazilian coach's press conference before the game did observe that he looked slightly tense and he wasn't his usual self. But again, that doesn't really dictate how the game is going to go. It's going to be won or lost on the pitch, and that's what we're going to be looking forward to today. That's Serbia versus Brazil for you. If you have any questions, of course, you can ask me in the comment section. But I predict a win for Brazil. I'll be happy if Brazil go through with a dominant victory. But on the day, I hope the team that deserves the win the most goes through. Till then, I'm going to be back with you tomorrow with another preview of one of the groups in the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Till then, bye-bye.